Over the weekend, Donald Trump announced a new trade deal with the European Union. It will result in a $90 billion per year tax hike on American families. When you raise tariffs, the American families pay for it. $90 billion tax on American families in this tariff deal with the European Union. Donald Trump is, as usual, trying to hype up, exaggerate, and lie about his accomplishments. Donald Trump always lies, almost always lies about his accomplishments, and this is no exception.
Isabel, the bottom line is this is the biggest trade deal in President Trump's effort to effectively reshape the global trading order. That has been one of his central priorities since taking office in January. He's been issuing many threats of tariffs, but they clearly have been working in terms of bringing other countries, allies, and adversaries alike, in some cases, to the negotiating table. And the latest example was today here in Scotland when the leader of the European Commission, who of course is negotiating for the European Union, she agreed to a 15% across-the-board tariff. Now that is significantly higher than the 10% tariffs in existence now, but it's much lower than the 30% threat that was coming on Friday and the 50% threat that was made in May. So clearly there has been an instance where the president has been using his threats of higher tariffs as a negotiating tactic, and in this case it certainly worked.
All
be leaders ourselves.
Black women are being used by the Democrat Party.
All of these socioeconomic indicators are in the negative, particularly for black people.
They want mob rule. When Trump was in office, please somebody tell me what act of dictatorship did he perform?
She had Donald Trump's hair on top of her head. And she's sitting here talking about brown girl this, brown girl that.
Because she's a black woman.
They would ask her how to spell her first name and clap like sea monkeys.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
What's up, everybody? It is Monday. This is our Monday Night Live, and it's time for Pop and Politics. I'm KJ. Let me introduce you to my co-host. Back with us tonight. She was feeling a little under the weather. Nicole Bennett is back, and Shelly E. All right. Yes, indeed. So Yana is out, folks. She is out. She is on vacation, so she will be out for about a week or so, and she will return. So we are praying for her safe travels to and from her location. All right. Let's go. So we are here to light this fire. Before we do your part. Tap that thumbs up, folks, as you guys come in. Hit that like button. It is a great way to get this video out in front of a wider audience. Smash that subscribe button and turn on your notifications. We are live here on YouTube, and we're on Rumble. And if you're on the go, catch us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify under the name Pop and Politics. We love our chat. We see the chat is already on fire. We shout out every super chat. So drop your thoughts, show your love, and join the conversation that the mainstream media wishes didn't exist. This is not just a podcast. This is a movement of God-fearing, truth-seeking, America-loving people that value freedom. Stand with us and subscribe so we can amplify this rallying call for freedom. All right, ladies, let's set it off. We have so much to get to tonight. We've got to get into Al Sharpton. We're going to get into this EU deal. We're going to get into Cincinnati madness. Oh, so much to talk about. But there is breaking news, folks, and it's not good. An NYC, New York City gunman has killed 5 and seriously hurt 6. Stormed a Park Avenue building today. So appears they did kill the the NYC gunman ID'd as Shane Tamura, and he did kill an NYPD officer.
Right.
Oh, wow. So the maniac gunman, according to the New York Post, who killed at least 5 people at 345 Park Avenue on Monday evening was identified as a 27-year-old Las Vegas man. So sources say the shooter stormed the 44th floor swanky Midtown office building and opened fire, killing 1 police officer and at least 4 civilians. So my God, our prayers are with all of the victims and their loved ones. We will continue to keep you all updated on this. Not sure what is going on. A photo obtained by the Post showed he had a concealed firearm permit from Las Vegas that expires in 2027. Did they capture him? Does anyone know?
I think he shot himself.
The gunman is dead, if I'm not mistaken.
He shot himself on the 33rd floor, I think they said.
But is this now? This was in New York. This was in Manhattan or New York City, because there's another shooting that was in the Bronx. Unless this is an earlier report that I'm looking at.
This one was in Midtown.
Right.
So there was another one in the Bronx today. Then a couple of people were shot too in the Bronx.
My goodness, what is going on? Oh well, we will continue to update you all on this. And keep you guys updated. But again, please, folks, continue to pray for those that are lost and their loved ones. Let's pray for the loved ones of those lost. All right. Any thoughts there before we move on here, ladies?
No.
Yeah.
One thought I do have. I'm sorry. I will bet you dimes to donuts that the gun person, the gun piece of shit, I bet his record was probably as long as your arm, my arm, and Nicole's arms put together. I bet. Just a guess.
Just to put it out there.
Yeah.
And one of the other things I would venture to say is, man, wouldn't it have been nice to have a good guy with a gun? A good guy with a concealed carry. When we talk about Traverse City, Michigan, man, the goodness of a good guy with a gun to protect everybody. Sometimes in New York City being one of those places that has very strict gun laws, almost as strict as we have here in Maryland, sometimes a good guy with a gun can save a lot of lives.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And that is exactly what happened in Michigan. Good guy with a gun stopped someone, and he had a knife, but still he got him and held him at gunpoint and held him until the police came in Traverse, Michigan over the weekend.
He had stabbed 7 people before the
right.
Good guy with the gun was like, that's enough. At some point we're going to have to start standing up for ourselves, folks. Waiting for the police to arrive may not give us the results that we desire.
Exactly. Especially in this atmosphere, in these areas where it's just lawlessness. It's just pure lawlessness. People are losing their minds. We have legitimized insanity and mental health issues. And we are, continuing to perpetuate a culture of lax hate towards law enforcement of all kinds and victim mentality. And those two, when you put those two types of things together, they create an explosive atmosphere that is very unsafe. Very unsafe.
It makes me crazy, KJ, when you think about it, is the very first thing when the news first broke about this particular gunman. I don't know about the other gunman, but this particular gunman, the first thing they started talking about is maybe he has mental health issues. Maybe this, that, and the third is going on with him. How about he's just a criminal? Yeah. How about he's just personified evil? Let's not continue to repeat his name. Let's give him none of the infamy that he so desperately wanted. Let's just call him prisoner 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and put him in a box somewhere where his family can come and grieve him, where the rest of the world just shakes our fists and say, how do we stop this madness? We stop this madness by locking up crazy folk. The pendulum has swung too far the other way. Mental illness, yes, is very much a healthcare concern. But when people in your family start to devolve, and become so dangerous that you don't want to be around them, then you should act on that. Because if they don't, you're their loved ones. If they don't want to deal with you in a kind and fair manner, what do you think they're going to do to the rest of the world? There's a good chance they'll show up to a skyscraper with a rifle and start taking pop shots at people.
My Lord. Yeah. Well, folks, again, if you guys are coming in here, we're talking about breaking news out of New York City. An armed shooter. Looks like there are 5 fatalities and more injured. So we will continue to monitor this situation. As you come in, please hit the like button. It helps to get this broadcast in front of a wider audience, and subscribe. All right. So moving on to what we think is good news, but it looks like the left is melting down over it. President Trump just brokered what he called the biggest deal ever with the European Union. And the facts back it up. By leveraging the threat of massive tariffs, Trump forced the EU to concede on energy, defense, and trade policy. This, folks, is more than just a win. It's a masterclass in America First deal making that puts U.S. workers, manufacturers, and national security ahead of globalist interests. Shelley, what did you think of this deal?
I say, woohoo, woohoo, another win. I love, even if, let's say, even if the monetary amount wasn't as big as it is, I love the strategy. I like watching how Trump just kind of works, right? Everyone automatically, the left, they jump on him. They're doomsayers and they're going to down it and everything. Fine, you can have some critical analysis, but most of them are just doing it, number one, because they don't like Trump and they just want to put negative information out there, which they have no backings for. But he just moves like a lion. You know how the lion, you see him in the forest and they just go like this, and then they stop, and they might survey their land, and then they kind of like this, and then they might wait a little bit until the prey gets in their path, and then they pounce. I love it. That's why I call him a lion. He moves like that. And I love this deal. And so what? I'm sick of the U.S. I've been saying this so many times. I'm sick of us, the U.S., having to pay everybody else's bills and all kinds of taxes and fees. It's time that we get ours back. I'm tired of giving our friendship away for free, in the words of Martin Payne.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Nicole, he didn't just avoid a trade war. He walked away with the leverage and the concessions. What are your thoughts on this?
Listen, I said last week that I was getting weary of winning. Boy, and Trump's not taking his foot off the gas. He's trying to kill a girl over here. Let me tell you, I could barely catch my breath. It is so amazing to see him take all of the negative energy and just kind of internalize it and turn it back into positivity and light. Anytime French President Macron has an issue with Donald Trump, anytime he's pissy with the United States, we're on the right track. From all reporting, they say Macron threw a hissy fit of epic proportions when this EU deal came back. 15% doesn't sound like a lot, right? It's a huge deal, especially when they were expecting to have zero to pay. Mm-hmm. Zero to pay. It is about time that the United States starts being wealthy again. And I think that's a very good look. Jobs, of course, money, of course, but holding everybody else in the world accountable for the way that they deal with the United States and our products saves us infinitely over and over again on the world stage. Now world leaders are chasing Trump all over the map to try to hurry up and broker their deal. I hear that South Korea showed up in Ireland chasing Trump, talking about, hey, can we cut a deal? That's a beautiful thing. That's absolutely beautiful. And it's going to be great for us and for our children and our grandchildren. It makes us wealthy again.
All right. And so much so, even MSNBC can't cope with how much America won with this EU trade deal. I mean, take a look at this. This is clip 9.
U.S. take any hits with this deal? And what does it say, this outcome say about the president's ability to negotiate?
It's incredibly favorable for the United States. I mean, you look at this, it's been very one-sided. I mean, the U.S. has been making the demands. These other countries have had to kind of contort and comport themselves to them. So they emerge fine here. But what's going to change is over the next weeks and months, as countries and trading partners like the EU look at this episode and think, can we trust this relationship with the U.S.? Can it continue? I think even looking at this deal, framework of which we don't have a ton of details. If that somehow goes south or changes, what's a trading partner like the EU to do? So we see them broaching new relationships with their other trading partners, looking for other opportunities. And I think that's going to be kind of the message here going forward. What's the legacy of these talks, of these threats going to be? And how are other countries going to kind of look at trade going forward? How are they going to change their tack now after all of this?
China is still a big question mark, and we know there are talks happening today, right, in Stockholm. Where do things stand there?
So we heard from the president this.
All right. So, I mean, America gained so much after this deal. 15% baseline tariff on most EU goods protect U.S. industries. Massive EU purchases of American liquefied natural gas and military equipment. U.S. manufacturers and energy producers stand to gain billions. Trump addressed the long-standing trade deficit with Europe, something no other modern president has tackled effectively. I mean, and Europe just caved on it all.
Absolutely. Look, KJ, add on to this the NATO when he the NATO countries are now going to be paying at least 5% towards their own defense. Bravo. The tariffs. We have the other countries, Japan, I think the Philippines or other countries that have already signed on to these tariffs. America has been footing the bill for so long. This is not one-sided. I forget his name. This is not one-sided. This is called come-uppance time. That's what it's called. It's called come-uppance time, and we are getting ours. We've been giving you all this and paying for this and sucking up the bills for every other country. America first. And that is what the lion in the White House is going to ensure happens on his watch.
Yeah. Nicole, why does the media downplay Trump's wins even when the numbers don't lie?
The midterms are coming. The midterms are coming, and the New York Times released a poll today that said 1 in 3 Democrat voters support them. 1 in 3. That means 63% of their folks think they're doing a horrible job, unfavorable. And we are sitting so close to the midterm elections. So they're trying to throw anything against the wall. You're hearing Democrat strategists saying now that we probably should stop attacking Trump. It's not working. But what I say, keep coming after him, because every time they think they land a blow, he comes back with another win. It's just been winning after winning after winning after winning. You guys imagine if that fake dossier, that Russiagate, as I like to call it, had not taken up his first term, how far ahead we would be as a nation if all of that foolishness had not been all everybody could think about. Well, we don't have to think about it anymore. He's squeezing it all into this term to make sure that everything is implemented and America does reach that great golden age he keeps talking about, win after win.
Yeah, you're right, Nicole. And guess what? He's doing it and he's saying, I don't give a damn how you guys feel how I do it. He's getting it done. And here is Victor David Hanson discussing it on Megyn Kelly's show today. He's breaking down exactly all the wins that we have gotten with this trade deal. This is clip 12.
My point is that when Reagan officials, whom I had liked, came out to explain, you know what they said to us? This is good for you, because this was the traditional economic exegesis that if they subsidize and we don't, then we're going to have kind of a Darwinian, only the strongest will survive, and that's good. And you'd say, well, you can't survive when they have a $500 dumping advantage. And then they'd say, well, they won't be able to sustain it. And they did sustain it. And then they'll say, it's going to lower prices for Americans that if you get less, and it didn't. And so we've been dealing with this economic orthodoxy for a long time, and what's missing is we don't really know what the profit margin was for the Japanese, the Chinese, the Europeans in this market. It could have been 20 or 30, but my point is that they apparently have calculated that as long as it's 15%, they're going to make plenty of money without having to raise prices and get in a trade war as the entry charge to get into this huge consumer market. And everybody said that's not true, but apparently they have made a calculated decision that they will make plenty of money, pay the tariff, and be here.
So let's unpack what he just said. So he's actually saying that we have been for years we have actually, as Americans, been paying more than what and they knew it. Your EU knew it. We didn't have to pay this amount. They were getting over by leaps and bounds. Right, Nicole?
Yeah, not only the EU, the whole entire world.
Exactly.
The entire world. When I tell you we have been upside down for so long, just the mere thought of us leveling the playing field with the rest of the world sent shockwaves around the globe. Oh, you can't do that. What about the other people? And oh, it's going to add money to how much Americans pay. And Trump is like, no. Nope, we're going to level the playing field. And those who don't want to come to the playing field, we're going to tariff you till your products are so expensive Americans don't want it.
Absolutely.
And then what? And then what? You talk about the art of the deal. This man is a walking, talking masterclass on the art of the deal.
I'm going to start calling him Mufasa.
Listen, wait, and I'm a shimmer when you say it. Go ahead. You say Mufasa, I'm a shimmer.
Mufasa.
Yeah, I think somebody in the chat it was the one and only Ron the Don Smith said he asked the chat, are you all tired of winning? And that is a good question. Yeah, are you ladies and everyone in the chat tired of winning yet? I'm not. Let's go America.
Hell no. We have been paying for so long. We've been paying everybody else's bills and taxes and fees for so long that they came to think that that's what we're supposed to do. That it's supposed to be automatic. Like Nicole said, how dare we even broach the subject of, wait a minute, let's go back and renegotiate that. Are you kidding? We were like, no, you can't do that. Yes, we can. It's our money. This is our president, and it's America first. Now, granted, any other country, you should vie for your country, right? The leaders should vie for their country, the best interest of their country. But the best interest of your country is not going to be built on the backs of hardworking Americans, not under Trump's watch. No.
Yep, sound like America first to me. And we're talking about this. And when we say this, when we're talking about these wins in America first, we're talking about not just for white people, not just for black people, not just for women, not just for men, not for the rural, not for the city. We are talking about all Americans, folks. So the left tries to divide us constantly about, this is when they say something about winning or whatever, it's only white Americans. Well, no, this is winning for all Americans. If you're working, if you believe in, if you have a business, if you're a hard worker, if you have a family, it's winning for us all. So, don't let them continue to divide us by this racial, ethnic diversity, and all this, because it's stupid and it's not working. It really is. This is a win for everyone.
And KJ, you're right. Let me just give you, I wrote this down, and this is I think it's from USA Facts. In June, the United States, we collected $108 billion in revenue, the first month in I don't know how long that we have been in the black, right? And that amount was like 95% almost higher than the same period last year. So for once, we are in the black. We collecting and bringing in more money than we're spending. Now, granted, cumulatively, we still have the debt, right? The $1 trillion debt, whatever that is. But for 1 month, at least last month, we are in the black.
Yeah. And then that's the type of black I like. I think everybody like that kind of black.
Exactly.
So, I mean, and look, the critics are even crying about this deal. In France, like you mentioned, Nicole, I think it was you, Nicole, France, Hungary claim the deal favors the U.S. too much. Globalists are pushing back. They're warning about inflation, but they fail to mention the long-term strategic value of reshoring industries. Again, Trump's opponents fear this deal will strengthen his re-election case. Well, not so much his re-election case, but at least for his JD Vance or whoever is running as the Republican in 2030? 2028. 2028. Yeah, 2028. So again, and then as you mentioned, Nicole, the midterms. So President Trump has these people on their heels so much, they don't know what to say. And in this next clip, again, this is a Democrat strategist suggesting Trump should focus on egg prices rather than calling for the prosecution of fraud. But he forgets to mention the egg prices have dropped as well. This is clip 3.
And by the way, Murphy, Frost, others, Jasmine Crockett, they're going around the country to do more of these types of town halls and more of these types of direct conversations with constituents. I think they'll be very successful. You know, one thing I would add here, Chris, is I think there's this hot conversation among Democrats about whether or not you think about these things as distractions, right? Like the Jeffrey Epstein piece of it and Trump going on Truth Social and saying just spurious lies about people like Beyonce and Oprah and Al Sharpton. What do they all have in common? Interesting. But I think for Democrats, it's less about is it a distraction and more about having the conversation on Donald Trump's terms. Democrats should not be having any of these conversations on Trump's terms. Trump wants to have them in very much kind of, you go to your red team, you go to your blue team, and I'm going to make this a base. That's not what this is. This is about Donald Trump claiming to be for transparency, claiming to be for free speech, and claiming to be to fight the status quo, and acting against all of those things with his power. And instead of focusing on making life more affordable for you, he's focused on lying about Beyonce and Oprah. And that's not going to make your eggs cheaper. That's not going to make it easier for you and your family to afford the lives that you lead. And it certainly isn't the promise he made to you when he said he wanted another shot at this office. And I think that's a very effective, compelling message.
Okay. So, Shelley, they always trying to move the goalposts. They're always trying to just change the subject. So let's get into what he's talking about.
Yeah,
Their new allegations are reigniting outrage over a $500,000 donation from Kamala Harris's presidential campaign to Al Sharpton's National Action Network, also called Nan Nanny Boo Boo. I'm getting y'all black people. Nan. Just days before Sharpton gave her a softball interview on MSNBC and publicly endorsed her. She gave him this money days before this easy softball interview. So this explosive revelation, amplified by President Trump, who he's been talking about it more and more, not just her, but of course we find out that from the campaign, Kamala Harris paid millions of dollars to Oprah Winfrey, to Beyonce. We covered this on here before, but President Trump is raising it again now, and he's questioning, these about corruption, media ethics, and political payoffs. So was this election interference hiding in plain sight? That's what he's asking, and now that's what the guy was reacting to. Okay. And before I get you guys in on this is Al Sharpton recently responding to President Trump's accusations in clip 4.
Good to see you. We have a couple questions for you on this, but let's just start simply with the accusation that President Trump has leveled at you. Were you paid for an endorsement?
Well, absolutely not. And as the FEC filings say, they helped the campaign. Gave funds for Get Out the Vote campaigns for National Action Network, of which I'm a part of, and other civil rights groups, some which got more than National Action Network did. National Action Network, nor I even endorsed her. What is interesting about this, though, is that the fact that this is as you accurately reported, second or third time, lawyers for National Action Network was looking at, can we sue him for defamation? Because he had knowledge this time that there was no endorsement and that I didn't get any money. This went to the nonprofit that I'm connected to. But let's look at the larger picture here. Donald Trump is in very serious problems around this whole question of Epstein. So last week, he was trying to flood the zone to take any pressure off of him and try to put his MAGA base back together again. The fact is, he started by saying he's going to fire the Fed chief. That didn't work. Then he went on to something about tariffs. That didn't work. Then he decided to do what he started his political career on, start race baiting.
All right. So there it is. He is shaking literally in his boots because he's afraid that his grift is about to come to an end. So Shelley, what do you think?
Okay, first of all, it takes a race baiter to know one very well. So Al Sharpton, nobody's going to top you on that. So number one. Number two, President Trump, the tariffs are working. What are you talking about? Where are you? Number three, you got that money, whatever it was, 500,000 or more. It may have gone to the National Action Network, but you got most of it. You got most of it. And not only that, when are you going to pay them damn taxes back from New York when you talk about defamation, when you defamed the officer in the Tawana Brawley case? When are you going to pay back that debt? He's lying. And number three, this is to the guy who was on the panel. This is why you all lost. You're still talking about Oprah and Beyonce. Oprah and Beyonce, they don't have to have, eggs can cost whatever they cost. They're going to pay for them. So you keep talking about them while all of your people, your base are still struggling. And when they start benefiting from these tariffs, and they might even get a rebate check, when they start benefiting, they will see that Trump is not joking. You are. It's going to be egg on your face.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Nicole, what do you think of that exchange?
You know, it's Reverend Al being Reverend Al. We all know that national Nana-Boo-Boo network doesn't get a penny that he doesn't get half of. That is just how that works. And that's the way he set it up. You know, he can say that the check went into the network and then it was broke up into administrative fees, but no one gets a bigger piece of that pie than he does. This is the reason why he tried to deflect to President Trump. So when you talk about where America is, he's absolutely right. America's not worried about Beyonce. America's not worried about Oprah. You know what Americans are talking about nowadays over the water cooler, so to speak, at work? Tariffs, money, immigration. Every single bit of Trump's agenda is hot topic for every single person I know who's even mildly political. It's not about the politics of it. It's about the cultural shift that's happening before their eyes. Yep. The Democrats don't have a leg to stand on. They're throwing everything against the wall and nothing is sticking. And you know why it doesn't stick? Because when America sees someone winning, win after win after win, there's nobody that America loves more than a winner. Not nobody. We all, especially an underdog, somebody who came from nothing and fought his way to the top. He is the Rocky of politics. You know, that election win in November was the greatest political comeback this country has ever known. Yeah. And then for him to come and swing it and just home run after home run after home run, they have nothing. They can't touch this man. They haven't put a finger on him yet. And I don't see it coming, because if they're rolling out Reverend Al, Beyonce, and Oprah, if that's who they think people relate to, they still haven't got it. They still haven't learned the lesson from the shellacking they took in November. And let me tell you, if we continue on this pace, 2026 is going to be an eye-opener for them.
I pray to God it is. Yeah. I really do. And this is, I want to go through some of what this Reverend Rennerage is lying about. So the timeline doesn't lie. So on October 20th, 2024, the Harris Walz campaign sends $500,000 to National Action Network, acronym NAN, N-A-N, Nan Nanny Boo Boo. Y'all black people I keep grifting y'all for the money. Okay. That's Nan. 2 days later, Sharpton hosted a praise-filled interview with Kamala Harris on MSDNC. Okay. Shortly after that, surprise, surprise, he endorses her candidacy. So again, you don't need a tinfoil hat to see a clear pattern. This wasn't journalism. This was bought and paid for PR. Okay, and then now we want to question, is MSDNC complicit? So MSNBC claims they were unaware of the donation before airing the interview. Yet Sharpton holds a dual role. He's a network host and head of National Action Network. So again, this creates a massive conflict of interest, but there've been no suspensions, no consequences, just silence.
Yeah, because in my never to be humble opinion, MSNBC or Al Sharpton has took down MSNBC. So that's why he has that job. But I mean, because where did he come from out of wherever except his gutter and the trash that he was spewing? So then he shook down MSNBC and voila, He's on the panel. He's a host. He gets however much he gets paid every year, and he can keep his position at the NAN. A grift. If grifting was in a dictionary, if it's in a dictionary, you open the book and see it. Al Sharpton's face is going to be there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. And then as that MSNBC pundit was talking about Oprah, Beyonce, and these other celebrity influences, it does seem like they were for sale. So reports allege the Harris campaign paid $10 million to Beyonce for a rally appearance and $2.5 million to Oprah's production company. So again, I don't know any event fees that are that high. It sounds like to me they're disguised endorsements to mislead people.
$50. I would have told her she was going to lose. Listen, this ain't your moment. This is not what we're trying to do.
Why are these people on the left, Al Sharpton's and the guy on that panel, they're talking and all the clips, them poo-pooing Trump. These are the people talking about Trump's tariffs are not going to work and he's not being transparent. Have they ever done an accounting of the $1 billion that Kamala Harris lost and spent during her lousy losing campaign? Have they ever done an accounting of that? They can't find it. They're not going to look for it. They don't even know where to look. And she still hasn't given an account of it. But they're going to talk about the American people's money, the tariffs that are winning. These people don't know how to count. They don't know how to do the account. They can't find $1 billion, and it's right there in their face. Ask Kamala Harris where it is. She won't know either.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
They're still doing fundraising. I got a hint from someone who's big on the Democrat side that they're asking all of their members for $5 across the nation to defeat Trump in 2026. So, this is my plea for our Republicans. Send in $10 so we can defeat their defeat. It's getting really crazy for them. And I don't think it's going to get better until they finally get something that the American public wants to actually hear from them. It's just getting worse every day.
It sure is. It sure is. But if we're not tired of President Trump winning, because guess what? When he wins, we win. So, thank you. And let's keep the train going. We have some super chatters here, folks. Thank you all so much. We really appreciate you folks. As you come in, hit that like button. It really helps to get our video out in front of a wider audience. So if you love to win and you don't mind President Trump's winning, hit that like button. Not only is he winning on the economic front, but and I saw someone comment about this. The DOJ has, I think they have made a historic record in the amount of pedophile rings and child abuse trafficking that they have uncovered just in the last several months. So, he, with the border being closed, and then on top of that, with him attacking these evil child predators and these rings, this is a real win for not just Americans, but children, for women all over the board. So yes, we have some super chatters here. Let's see here. We have Kung Fu CJ with the $5 super chat says, "Hey, Poppin' Politics family, the liberals giving Shelley more material to scream at." All right. Yes, indeed. All right. Kung Fu CJ says, "Nicole, no." Yes. Yes, indeed. All right, folks. Thank you all so much. Your super chats go a long way in helping us stay online and produce this content. We get a lot of pushback. You just have no idea. We are here in liberal Maryland. Not only that, but because of our skin color, there is a segment of the population who believe that we should not be conservative.
The fake brothers of America.
Yeah. So, we push back against that. We are patriots. We love this country. We want to continue to win because, again, when our president wins and when we win. So, folks, we will continue to push the truth and keep it coming. All right. So speaking of grifters, we got to get on Jasmine Crockett. So Texas is on fire, folks, not because of the heat, but because Democrat Representative Jasmine Crockett just tried to rewrite the Voting Rights Act on the spot. Okay, take a look. She is like losing it over this redistricting in Texas, and here she is pushing this thing here about the Voting Rights Act. Let's break this down. This is clip 5.
Not only did they create 2 new Anglo majority seats that are approximately 766,000 people each, y'all paired the 9th and 18th congressional districts, and we had to fight to unpair them. I am old enough to remember that I testified in court about a month ago, and the state took the position that they didn't consider race when they created the maps that we're currently sitting under. I am old enough to remember that this legislature has consistently been found to be intentionally racially discriminatory in the drawing of its maps ever since the Voting Rights Act was enacted.
So what in the world? So she's saying that the Voting Rights Act requires 60% of seats in Texas to go to minorities simply because people of color make up 60% of the state. As soon as I heard her say this, I thought about you, Nicole. What are your response to this?
Do you know, when I heard her say it, I was kind of recovering from my illness, and it almost made me sick again. I was like, I thought I was mishearing her, right? So I had to replay it several times, and then like I turned on the closed captioning so I could read. I said, so either I'm sick or she's sick. One of us are not doing really well. One of us is struggling in this moment, and lo and behold, it wasn't me, it was her. You know, her interpretation of the law, it is short-sighted. Let's just be very kind. She's a 100% jackass. You know, I may not be very good at fractions, but she's a whole jackass every day of the week. This woman will take any little parcel that she can bend and manipulate to her advantage. And let me tell you something, it's not even working within her own party. She was easily, resoundingly defeated for party leadership, resoundingly defeated. And there's a reason for that. You have to be honest. You have to be honest. I'm not going to sit here and say that I want Texas gerrymandered like Maryland used to be gerrymandered. Maryland is still very much gerrymandered. It's not as bad as it was before, but it's really, really, really bad. You know that broken wing pterodactyl we used to be? I hope they put it right over top of her district. I hope they split up and leave her with the liliest, GOPist district that they could draw. You know, somebody give me a pen. I'm going to help this sister out. She has lost her damn mind. And this whole point where she's saying, I'm old enough to remember. I'm old enough to remember. That kind of civil rights alliteration doesn't really play when you're talking about a month ago. You're old enough to remember a month ago. I hope you remember a month ago. I really do. I hope it's fresh top of mind a month ago. It burns my britches that this redistricting process is according to Texas law. This is what the governor wants to do. The governor can do it. As a Republican, I love to see it. There are certain states that can't do it because the Democrats took such control that they said you can't redistrict unless it's the census year, you know, unless this particular small date and time. They did it here in Maryland once Larry Hogan was elected for fear of Republicans, believe it or not, here in Blue Maryland. So Maryland constitutionally may not redistrict until it's absolutely time to redistrict. Texas doesn't have those boundaries. And let me tell you, in politics, everything is fair play. The governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, said, we're going to redistrict and we're going to get us 5 more seats. And we don't care if you don't like it. You can change your wig all you want to, sister friend. It's coming for you. You better hang on to them edges. It's coming for you.
Yeah, she did. She did change her wig. She did. Shelly, what did you think of that dumb woman's exchange?
I was a little confused because I didn't read anywhere that it had to be proportional to the number of Black people or racial, if you will, racial categories. Typically speaking, you know, when we are apportioned or when Congress is apportioned, it's based on the number of people in your state. Okay, that's how we get to the federal. So now the Republicans are in control in Texas. Okay. If it's not illegal, then they can do it. They can do it before the next census or before the next presidential election. They can do it according to Texas's constitution or whatever their statutes are for their legislature. So Jasmine Crockett once again is pulling. She's kind of I'm starting to see her as the female version of Al Sharpton. Because almost nothing she says, it's all convoluted. It's all convoluted, and it sounds good. And she's a Black woman, and so she must be for the people, if you will. She must be for the people in the diaspora. Oh my gosh! But she's mixing a whole lot of apples and oranges and other fruit. This is a whole daggone ambrosia that she's making up. And it does not make sense. And the people of Texas are not going to fall for her. She can scream out there all she wants, and it's not going to work. The Republicans are in control. They have the majority. It's not illegal. It's not outside of the bounds, if you will. They're going to redistrict. And why should they not? Why should they not? That's what Democrats do it all the damn time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I 100% agree. And let's really break down what her snatched edges and her twisted facts gave out. So again, this Voting Rights Act is nothing like she said. Section 2B of the Voting Rights Act says nothing establishes a right to have members of a protected class elected in numbers equal to their proportion in the population. Okay, so the Supreme Court has backed this in multiple rulings, from Gingles to Shaw v. Reno, making it clear race cannot dominate redistricting. It cannot. So again, Texas has 38 congressional districts. It already has 15 to 18 minority majority or coalition districts, about 40 to 47% of seats, well above federal compliance standards. So Crockett, she wants 60% based on raw population, but that's not how the Constitution or the Voting Rights Act works. And you would think, she's an attorney, she would know that. So she's either just dumb as a rock or she's just outright lying, which I think is a little bit of both. Okay.
That's the reason why people in her party are like, yeah, she's a firebrand, but there's really no substance. This is why, she lost her run for that seat. You have to be able to look the other side in the face and speak truth to power, not just word salad, not just foolishness. It only works when you look them dead in the eye and you say, look here, this was a majority minority district and you busted it up. It was the only one that we had. It's not fair and we're going to sue you for it. That's truth to power. But when you have well above, and I mean well above the federal standard, that conversation falls flat. If anything, if I were her, my rally call would be, if we're going to redistrict and I want a voice, I want to be sitting at that table. I want to be the one holding a pen. Where can I submit my map? Not dredging up some 1950s, slogan, trying to make it work here in 2025. They still have not learned the lesson. And it is annoying, but it is a wonderful thing.
Yes, it is.
For America, for children, for women, for workers, for everybody who has been downtrodden, everybody who has been overlooked, who shut their mouth and pay their taxes, or write a $9,000 check to the state of Maryland, hear that. People who do that, we get the short end of the stick on a regular basis. We keep our mouths shut and we do our work, right? It's about time we get a little bit of sunshine. It's about time that the sun is shining on us, and our sun is coming from Donald J. Trump. He's opened up the blinds, and there's sun for everybody, including her. But she's going to have to learn how to be honest. And I don't think she has that in her. I just don't.
Nope, not at all.
She doesn't. It goes to show people like Jasmine Crockett and Al Sharpton and others. It really goes to show, if people stood back, particularly the Black people that they're supposed to be talking to, why don't you stand back and ask yourself, why do they always use your skin color as the basis of their argument? I mean, take out the skin color. If they didn't have that argument, basically what they're saying is you're too stupid to vote on your own, to vote and learn about the issues. If you don't have them, vying because of your skin color, then you can't do any damn thing for yourself. That's really what they're saying in layman's terms. You are dumb, stupid, but we're going to step in because you don't know no better. So we're going to use your color and ask for all of these preferential treatments based on your skin color. And that's it. That's what they're saying.
Yep, you're exactly right. We have some super chatters here, folks. Thank you all so much. We really appreciate you. All right, Kung Fu CJ with the $10 super chat says 100 of thousands of people left blue states to live in Texas, Tennessee, Georgia, and Florida. Those blue states are going to lose congressional seats, and those red states are going to gain those seats. Yeah, well, I hope those people that moved down there are not still voting blue. That's what I really hope. But yeah, you're right. Faith Penner with the $5 super chat. Super sticker. Thank you. Thank you so much, Faith. All right. Kung Fu CJ he became a member of our Freedom Seekers Club. He's already a member, so I guess he just what do you call it?
Re-up.
Re-up. Yes, indeed. So we do have that, folks. It's a great way to support the channel. To become a Freedom Seekers Club, you can join there right on our YouTube page, and it's a great way to support us. So thank you so much. Yes, indeed. Well, not everybody. I mean, people are getting tired of Jasmine Crockett. Like you mentioned, Nicole, there are people, Black people of color who are embarrassed by her, who say she does not speak for us. And here is one lady who really just let her have it. This is clip 5.
Texas, what are y'all doing? Are y'all really proud of the representation y'all getting from Jasmine Crockett? I'm serious. Are y'all proud at the way Jasmine Crockett carries herself in Congress? Jasmine Crockett is a racist, trashy, ghetto piece of mess. Yep, I said it. Y'all get mad at me all y'all want. I stand 10 toes down on what I said. I said it, I meant it. She's a ghetto, trashy, racist piece of crap. Jasmine Crockett's mouth is completely filthy to be in Congress. For her to be representing the American people, her mouth is filthy. She don't even know when to cut it off. I don't care what she say at home and how she talk at home, but when you're in Congress representing the people of the United States of America, representing the people of your district, you should know how to act and how to control yourself. Her mouth is ridiculous. Now, don't get me wrong. My mouth can be ridiculous sometimes, but I'm not in Congress. I'm not representing a certain district of people who put me in office. And you can best believe if I was, I would know how to act and how to carry myself. Even if you disagree with someone, you should know how to carry yourself. Jasmine Crockett is a piece of ghetto trash. And I'm so sick of y'all out here telling myself, oh, Jasmine Crockett is a strong Black woman. Jasmine Crockett don't take no mess. Oh, Jasmine Crockett, she'll tell you off. Jasmine Crockett is a ghetto piece of trash who do not know how to control herself or do not know how to act in Congress. And it is what it is. I mean, are y'all really proud of this? Women, are we? Is this what represent us? Are these the type of women that we want representing us in Congress? I'm serious. I don't care if you're Black, white, Asian, Latino. I don't care what you are. Is this what you want representing us as women? And stop lumping all us Black women up together, acting like we agree with this bull crap that Jasmine Crockett doing, because we don't. Jasmine Crockett is a mess. Texas, what are y'all doing?
There it is. She said, yes, she did. I mean, she was speaking my mind. And she said exactly what we have said this on this show. I think you said it, Shelley, how if you are a representative of ours in Congress, there's a certain way of decorum you should act.
Absolutely. I've said it all the time. I know I say some stuff out of my mouth, but I'm not on the public stage. Okay. I'm not representing. I'm not on the pulpit. I'm not in the Congress, in the halls of Congress. And if I were, of course, I would not be saying those things. Well, most of the time, I wouldn't be saying those things, most of the time, like I do. But this lady is correct. If you are a congresswoman, a congressman, there's some things that you just don't say, and particularly you don't say them in with certain audiences. You just don't. She doesn't know the difference between being on duty, if you will, down on Capitol Hill or in her district versus just hanging out with her girlfriends.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame though, and it's like that for any elected office. You do have to have a certain amount of decorum, especially when you're a Black woman. Let's have this conversation.
All right.
When you are a Black woman, there's only so much anger that you can portray without people looking at you going, I knew she was going to wiggle her neck. I knew she was going to start cussing and carrying on. So you do have to be able to use your words effectively. And sometimes it means walking away from a fight where you would ordinarily lay them out and chalk outline their dead bodies, and you have to walk away. You walk away not just to preserve you, but for all the people that you represent, not just the people who voted for you, but for your family and other Black women who may want to come behind you. So imagine the next Black woman elected from Texas, from her district, probably, maybe. Are we going to expect them all to be wig wearing, neck wiggling, dancing down the hallway to rap music, hooligans? Is that what we're expecting? Should that be in the halls of Congress? No. Washington, D.C. has plenty of places where she can go out and shake her booty anywhere she chooses, where she can roll her neck, change her wig, flap her eyelashes, plenty of places. The halls of Congress is not that. It is not that. Almost all the time that you see her when she's recording at home or in her office, there's a picture of Shirley Chisholm over her shoulder. And for Black women who are very political, regardless of what side of the aisle that you're on, there's a certain amount of decorum that Shirley brought to the floor. She spoke her heart, she spoke the truth, but she did it like a classy lady. And whether you agreed with her or not, you had respect for the way she carried herself. That is now gone.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jasmine Crockett.
And let's say this, okay? First of all, she is not being authentic. This is an educated woman who, when she first started out, she did not act, nor did she speak the way she is representing herself today, okay? She's putting on a front. She is putting on, a character, and it's really, it's actually not only embarrassing, but we should all be offended by the way that she is trying to paint Black women. Okay. It's not the way we are. And it's a false character. But what she's doing right now is she's doing this for power. She's twisting the civil rights laws to justify permanent Democrat power, especially in growing minority areas. And she's playing to a demographic of people that are not following, his history. They are not really looking at the data and the politics behind this stuff. She's playing on their emotions and their lack of political know-how and things like that. That's what she's doing, and she's trying to do this any way she can. And so she's playing up to the lowest common denominator of people like Sexy Red and what's his name, Meg the Stallion, and these types of people who are just degenerates. Really?
Yeah. I think, when people say that she's putting on the front, I don't think so. I think this is the real Jasmine. I think maybe the front was when she first, all those earlier clips or tapes of her. I think that was the front. She did what she had to do to win over her sponsors and donors. I think this is the real Jasmine. I said a few years ago that, like her or not, she was going to be a prominent spokesperson for the Democratic Party. And this is when she first started getting, all of the neck rolls or whatever. I think this is the real Jasmine.
Okay.
Well, maybe. I mean, I'm just from a Black woman in politics point of view. If there are other Black women who want to be in politics, who are looking for role models, the late, great Mia Love. That was a wonderful woman. She carried herself with class and elegance. And when I tell you, smart as a whip, she would chop you down like a cherry tree without losing an eyelash. She didn't have them fake ones either, right? Then we have, of course, Condoleezza Rice.
Right.
When you think about these women who held very high positions of power, especially Condi Rice, who you've never seen her roll her neck. Now, she's been mad plenty of times at entire nations of people. She's been very, very unhappy with them, but she conducted herself in a way that left the door open for other little brown girls to come behind her and do the same thing, and maybe just a little bit further. This is what Jasmine has killed. And, for all intents and purposes, if there's some little girl out there rolling her neck and flashing her eyelashes and she wants to come to Congress, honey, you're never going to get a vote that way. Never going to get a vote that way. Not one donation.
You're right, Nicole. Folks, as you guys come in, please hit that like button. It helps to get this video out in front of a wider audience, and subscribe. Our goal is to hit 200,000 subscribers by Labor Day, and we can do it with your help. So please, as you all come in, if you haven't done so already, hit the like button and subscribe. If you like what you're hearing here, if you believe, if you're God-fearing, if you're truth-seeking and America-loving person, you are where you need to be, and subscribe. Join us. All right. So we are going to continue on this, going to change those gears a little bit and move off of politics and into this massive brawl in Cincinnati. All right, folks. So a brutal attack in downtown Cincinnati was caught on video and quickly went viral, showing multiple individuals violently beating a helpless victims, actually. Police have now charged at least 5 suspects, and Vice President JD Vance has weighed in, calling out the growing lawlessness in our cities. This isn't just a random act. It's a reflection of a moral breakdown emboldened by weak leadership and a culture that no longer fears consequences. Take a look at this. This is footage from that fight and of Vice President Vance reacting to it. This is clip 1.
There was a group of people who attacked a couple folks on the street in Cincinnati. Senator Bernie Moreno, some others have spoken out about it, have been critical of it.
Okay, yes. So what I saw, and I haven't seen the full context, but what I saw is a mob of lawless thugs beating up on an innocent person, and it's disgusting. And I hope every single one of those people who engage in violence is prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And they will be. They will be so long as law enforcement in the state of Ohio takes their job seriously. I know Dave Yost cares a lot about these things. But yeah, I actually, you're right. Bernie did send me a clip of this, and we talked a little bit about it. I don't know the full context. I don't know how the fight started. But the one part that I saw that was really gruesome is you had a grown man who sucker punched a middle-aged woman. And where I come from, at least, when you have a grown man who sucker punches a middle-aged woman, that person ought to go to jail for a very long time. And frankly, he's lucky there weren't some better people around, because they would have handled it themselves. But if they're not going to handle it, the cops in Cincinnati, the law enforcement, you've got to prosecute people. We've had way too much lawlessness on the streets of great American cities. How many of you all have wanted to go to downtown Akron or downtown Canton or downtown Columbus for a meal, but you're worried because the local authorities in these big cities have allowed lawlessness to run wild? We have got to make great American cities safe again for families and children. If you want to take your wife or your children out for a meal, you shouldn't be worried about street violence. And the only way to destroy that street violence is to take the thugs who engage in that violence and throw their asses in prison.
Wow. All right. Let's unpack this. So, I mean, the sad part about this is these types of attacks are no longer shocking. They're becoming commonplace in these cities. I mean, we opened up the show today. It wasn't planned, but breaking news, you know, there was a mass shooting in New York City. What's going on, Shelley?
Yeah. They're becoming commonplace among the animals with two legs. Okay. That's what in certain segments of these people, I don't even want to call them people. They are savage. They are animals. They belong in a jungle. And actually, I would vote for that. I would support that. Putting them literally in the jungle somewhere in the Sahara and letting them literally fight with the elephants and the boars and all the wild animals out there, because this is nothing short of savagery. I hope they find these people, and I hope they prosecute them for attempted murder, not just assault, not just, injury or whatever, attempted murder. I hope those victims are surviving or will survive their injuries. When I did a quick search, every newspaper or article that came up, not one of them mentioned that most of the people that I saw who were assaulting were Black. Most of them. They didn't mention that they called it a fight or a violent fight or a group of people fight. They never even broached the race subject. But had it been reversed, that's all we will be hearing on the 24/7 news cycle. We will be hearing how some Black person was attacked by a group of white people. That's all we will hear if it was reversed. These people need to be hung up somewhere by their testicles and by their boobs, if you will. I mean, at first, it's unsettling just on a human form. I mean, people literally, you can die from hitting the pavement that hard from a fall. And unfortunately, many elderly people do it just because of their advanced age and other problems. A fall can literally take you out. These people knocked people over, sucker punched them down. They hit the concrete. And it was a third victim. It was a third man. I think on a later bit, I think he was trying to help them. And he was just sucker punched. This is savage. It's just savage. It's all I can say.
Yeah, I mean, Nicole, how can we have justice when there's no fear of judgment?
Dino, you sound like Vivek. Vivek, like Kate, came out with his statement. As we all know, he's running for governor of Ohio, and he called it for what it was. It's a hate crime. This is not a street brawl. This is not, as the Dems are in Cincinnati are trying to spin it now, too much alcohol. It's none of that. What this is dereliction of duty. There should have been police on the scene. 2 blocks over, there were more than 10,000 people at a music festival. They didn't think people were going to walk over and have a drink on their main drag. They didn't think that didn't cross their minds. Or could it be that their zeal to defund the police? They should have at least sent a damn social worker so somebody could talk to the angry people when they were beating each other to death. From a violent standpoint, this was gross. This was disgusting. Watching another human being step on another human being's head, a grown man sucker punch a woman, then try to come over and rouse her back. All of this is really, really disheartening. But what really broke my heart is only one person called 911. Out of the hundreds of people who were out there, out of all the different camera views that we get to see splashed across TikTok and YouTube, while they were filming, no one bothered to call 911, to break it up, to send an ambulance to help these people. There's something that's happening in our cities where people are absolutely depraved, and it's okay. It's okay with city leadership. To hear the vice mayor say, well, you don't judge us by this. Oh, you bet you're a sweet bottom. We're going to judge you by this, honey girl. It is everything we're going to talk about. Everything we're going to talk about. There's a reason why people don't go downtown for dinner anymore. There's a reason why people don't take their children downtown to see monuments and parks anymore. It's because these places have become so lawless, and you have to get beat up first before the police intervene. You have to be stomped on the head and have someone else drive you to a hospital before you get any attention. And then it took several days before the mayor said anything. Their members of Congress are saying, what the hell? We're not these people. Well, guess what? You are these people. Because these weren't children. These were adults. Adults. It's absolutely disgusting. The one moment of levity in this whole entire thing is watching the mainstream news media stumble over how to say Vivek's name, even though we all know it's Vivek like cake. They butchered it, but he said the right thing. He said, this cannot continue to happen. We need policing there. This was a massive public event. Where were the police? Where were they? There should have been ambulances standing by. And the Democrats are saying, well, we're going to have to take a look at the bars and see how much alcohol they serve. What the hell? What? Yes. They're concerned about writing citations to bar owners. Shelley's right. There's something wrong with these people, and alcohol ain't the problem. They were this way before the alcohol got involved. There's nothing, I can't imagine anywhere else in this country where this kind of fight could happen without the police showing up en masse.
Yeah.
Cop, the whole fight. Woman laid flat on her back, punched in the face by a grown man. She was coming from a birthday party.
Oh my goodness.
She tried to break the fight up.
So let me, firstly, I say when we abandon God, destroy the nuclear family, glorify lawlessness, and attack police, we create a generation with no boundaries and no fear of consequences. But ladies, I want to ask you, I'm just going to ask you a tough question. I'm going to ask you an honest question. Mm-hmm. We have seen these types of videos. We've seen multiple these types of videos all over social media. We're here in Maryland, and many of us hail from Baltimore City. And many of the videos that we see like this are Black folk acting a fool, violent, all of this stuff we see constantly. And I want to ask you, is this a Black thing? Or is it the media pushing this out to making us believe that these are the most of these types of incidents occur with Black people?
Okay.
And if it is a Black thing, what's going on?
Okay.
Shelley,
I'm going to give you my honest, never to be humble opinion. I'm going to say yes to both. I'm going to say yes. Does that mean that other ethnicities don't have crime and thuggery and a lower class level, if you were the deviant groups in there? No, it doesn't mean they don't have them. But what we're seeing here, I was talking to this today with someone. I always say to you, KJ, something's wrong with us. Something's wrong with us, particularly since the 1960s. Something has gone wrong with Black people in general. Of course, there's going to be, instances and not everyone, but in general, we have lost a sense of God and having that moral framework, if you will. We have lost a sense of community, families, all of these things. And many of them, some of them may have been systemic, of course, coming out of slavery. Yes. But many of them since the 60s, since we were given, if you will, all of this welfare, the social entitlements, we were taken or made to feel that we were so needy that we needed other people to take care of us. I'm sorry. I'm starting to realize or to maybe accept that when we were separated during the Jim Crow era, that may have been a good thing for Black people because we knew how to act at the very least. I'm not saying racism and slavery and Jim Crow in and of itself was a good thing from a government perspective. But as far as culturally, and we knew how to act in general, we were much better at it. We did much better. We acted much better. We were learning. We were thriving economically. We were on the upward trend, if you will. So there were some positives, if you will, from us being separated. Again, not saying that the government should sanction it. I'm talking about from a culture in that sense. But now, today, we have literally lost our minds. We have lost our souls in a way.
Yeah, Nicole, same question.
I think Shelley hit on it pretty hard. This is a direct result of Black America being an infant in this nation. Absolute infant. You can't feed yourself, the government will feed you. You can't house yourself, the government will house you. You can't raise your children or raise your children for you. You can't figure out a career. You can always march in formation. And after that, we'll find something else for you to do. This has been a growing problem. And we've gotten to a point where the infant is now a toddler. And the toddler is pitching a fit. This is what this is. This is grown, and these aren't young people. These are grown adult people. And I've heard all the excuses. Oh, he slapped them. Oh, he called somebody a nigger, this, that, the other thing. That don't cause that. That's not what the cause of that is. The cause of it is, how dare you speak to me? Clutch the pearls. I'm so much better. I'm a Black man. You can't talk to me like that. I'm a Black woman. You can't talk to me like that. Let me try to kill you and ruin your life forever and ever. There's been bar fights since we've had bars in this world, right? Two guys maybe had too much to drink, a little pushing and the shoving. The cop breaks it up. You go on about your life. Maybe somebody throws a punch, maybe two. But this was a melee with women. When we think about the state of Black America, I say this all the time. There are going to be some people who just don't make the journey. And if Tyrone was here, and this is Tyrone's stand, he would say this is some absolute niggery. He would say that. He's had enough, and so have I. But let me say this. We as a culture have to grow up, not only politically, not only financially, but culturally. Everything can't just feel good all the time. You can't act on your emotions all the time. When did we become so emotional about every single thing? Listen, if I beat up everybody that called me a bad name, I would never make it to the show. I would still be beating people up. I'd be beating people up 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 a day. You can't allow someone else's bad energy to impact you in such a way that it brings out the most base and animalistic part of you. So yes, KJ, this is very much a Black thing. And yes, it's going to be hard to reverse. And yes, there are going to be some people who just going to have to stay in the niggerverse, right? And let them stay where they are. The rest of us have to progress. The rest of us have to keep reaching. The rest of us have to keep growing. This is Jasmine Crockett in minor, right? You could have seen her out there getting her wig pulled off like the other girl did. She could have got them eyelashes slapped off her face. Make no mistake. That's how people in that particular vein of Black America behave. There's a different way. Some guy slaps you, call the police. You might want to slap him back, but call the police. File the police report, take him to court, publicly shame him, do what you got to do. But a melee in the street where people are critically wounded and injured. This woman has a very serious concussion. Vivek talked to her earlier.
And so does the other guy. So does is another third guy. He does too. He hit from standing. He was just cold cop and he went down. He hit the cement. It's savagery. It reminded me of, I call it the modern version of Lord of the Flies. That's what this reminds me of. Absolute chaos, like you said, melee. No one is taking, if you will. And then let me say something about the mob. It is very, easy to be drawn into a mob if if you don't have the mindset to, like you said, not let your emotions take over, if you don't have the mindset to say, you know what, I'm going the other way, let me get to safety and I'll call 911 or whatever the case may be. But the mob draws in a lot of people like the swamp. It's like the swamp. It draws you in. That call is so strong, and you get people standing around oohing and on and not helping, and one person calls 911.
Yeah, I agree with you both. I'll even add a different layer to it. I think it is a combination of, media and Black folk acting a fool and Marxism. Marxism didn't just infiltrate the Black community, it declared war on our faith. And these godless ideologies have replaced the church with state, the Bible with identity politics, and fathers with government checks, as you mentioned, Shelley, from the 60s. So instead of preaching repentance and redemption, they preach resentment. This is what Jasmine Crockett lives off of: resentment and revolution. And now we're seeing the fruit of it: broken families, fatherlessness in our homes, and a generation that knows more about Karl Marx than Jesus Christ. And the truth is, Marxism is a counterfeit gospel. Karl Marx was a devil worshiper. And it's time we expose it and return to the true gospel that sets the captives free. But until we do that, we're going to continue to see these monkeys fighting and killing in the streets. And let me tell you something, one other thing. This is why we have to stop identifying by race, because I don't identify with what we saw in the street on that video. I don't identify with that Black boy in the not getting out the car when the police pulled him over. I don't identify with George Floyd. I don't identify with these Freddie Gray and all this type of stuff. I don't. I'm not that Black. If that's what Black is to the left,
that's not me.
Count me out. I'm not it. And
I'm
all
Asian.
need to start standing
if that's
up
the case,
for
I'm
that.
Asian.
Yeah, that's not me. It's not. And we all need to start saying that as Black patriots. If you want to call, I'm not. That is not me. If that is your Black, you can have it. Don't call me it. Let's get rid of the race stuff, because you're not lumping me in with that group.
Nope. And I tell people all the time, there is a very, very big difference between Black women and them other ones. There's a huge difference. And they set themselves apart. They're easy to identify. There's a way, there's a look, a talk, a tone about them. It's not how I identify, but I'm not going to let them have my culture either, because I know what African-American culture is, what Black culture really is.
Right. This is animalistic. This is savagery.
There's so many influences that brew in this funk soup that this is. When you talk about your grandma's 35, right? That there's no sense of belonging, no sense of family. You can't get along with anybody. You got 3-4 baby mamas and all these children, and they see daddy part-time or see mommy part of the time, and they spend most of their time with their grandparent who's doggone 35. She's still trying to live her life. So who is raising these people? They have all the trappings, because if you look at them, some of them were pretty well dressed. Some of them had on some nice designer clothes. So they have the look of intelligence and affluence, but they have the behavior of a spoiled damn toddler. A spoiled toddler. In America, let me tell you, hear me very clearly. Hear what the vice president said. If there were some good people there, this wouldn't have happened that way. If there were some good people there, it wouldn't have happened that way. He meant that, and I felt that. And let me tell you, it's coming, folks. It's coming, and it's going to come on strong.
But KJ, another thing to your point about the media, I said yes to both. The media, and granted, we showed the clip. It's all over the media. I get that, right? But the media does play up these types of things, but they typically will only, I'm going to say it for one group, one direction, if you will. Again, the racial angle. They use the racial angle and they exploit that, because had that been Black people that were knocked over, knocked down, the media would be nonstop about it.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not saying that would have been wrong too. If whoever it happened to, it's wrong. It's immoral, if you will. It's savagery. Whatever your ethnicity, it doesn't even matter. But this is what the media did. This is how they exploit it, or they will minimize it, depending on if the looks of the person fit their narrative, fit their ideology.
Yeah.
You know what? I think another thing to take into consideration, KJ, is being viral. Because he wasn't recording that for NBC or MSNBC or CBS. He was recording that for TikTok. He was recording that for YouTube. There is this voyeurism that's happening in our society now where you report later, but record first.
Wow.
Right?
Yep.
And that is something that we have to breed out of our children, because I'm going to tell you, it happens in the best of families to the best of people. When we were on the cruise, a young woman was having a very intense but quiet argument, I'll give her that, with someone that she was apparently dating, or maybe her husband, I don't know. But rather than come help her, there were men in the hallway like this.
Wow.
Recording the event.
Nicole, you said the one where I was thinking of. Most of those people in there were men. You could hear the man in the background that was recording and oohing and ahhing. It
was a man that punched the lady.
I know, that's what I'm saying. What the hell is, what do you call, I mean, come on. There were no men there. There was a woman there that tried to intervene, but where were the men who should have been intervening? I mean, again, I have so many questions and thoughts about this. Don't get me wrong, the whole thing was wrong. But where are the men in our society to stand up, to stand on the front lines? Thank God that woman, she tried to intervene and, she got hurt or whatever. But the point is that where are the men? I mean, we walk around talking about women aren't this, some men, women aren't this and women aren't that. Where are the men? Show us who you are. Stand up. Here am I, Lord, send me. Where are you?
Yeah, well, we got one man in the comments that he's going off, calling us all kinds of names. Some guy who probably tucks his penis in between his legs, Daniel Price.
If he didn't get it chopped off already.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is what we're talking about. But, folks, it's time to get back to moral clarity, godly order, and real accountability. Because if we don't, this isn't just about one beating in Cincinnati. It's about the beating heart of our nation, growing colder by the day. So please, as you all come in, hit that like button and subscribe. We gotta, again, it's not about color. It's not about gender. It really isn't. I mean, we cut up on here and stuff. It's about values. It's about building a community of like-minded people that understand we have to stick together. We love our country. We want to be able to practice our faith freely, and our freedom is important to us. So if you're like-minded that way, hit that subscribe button. We have a goal to hit 200,000 subscribers by Labor Day, and we only can do it with your help. All right. We have so many super chatters here, folks. Thank you so much. Want to acknowledge you all. All right. Let's see here. We have JT Thompson says, no, there were no men there. There were a lot of boys there, but no men, no adults. Thank you, JT, for the $10 super chat. Kung Fu CJ says, preach KJ. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Colin James says, love you guys. Great topics. Great show. Thank you for your $10 super chat. Thank you. Brown Eyes with the $5 super chat says, it was said today the white guy slapped a black man and they all jumped him. I don't condone violence, but I was wondering why did they do it? Okay, well, I mean, to me though, it used to be a time where, okay, if some guy slap you, you don't all gang up on them and beat them to a pulp. I mean, not only just beating them and hitting them, but I mean, somebody stomped them and then you punching a woman.
They did a wrestling move on them, and
yeah, I never seen such. All right, well, we had another one. I thought, did we? Or did I get them more?
Teresa. Kung Fu again.
Oh, we did. Okay. Well, we'll get back to it. I don't see it here. Okay. All right. So, moving right along, I want to talk about this next, this viral commercial. okay, from American Eagle. This thing has gone viral and it's got the left going nuts. It's driving them crazy. First, I want to show you the video, the commercial, and you guys tell me what you think. This is clip 7.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has very keens. Sydney Sweeney has very keens. Sydney Sweeney has very keens.
Hi, I'm Sydney Sweeney, and I'm from Spokane, Washington. I can work as a local hire as well, though, and I am available for the American Eagle Jeans campaign shoot.
Profile and hands, please. Thanks. We'll be in touch.
Sydney Sweeney has very keens.
Next.
All right. So that commercial has people losing their minds. They're calling it fascist. They're calling it eugenics. They're calling it racist. Has said it has racist undertones. Before I get you guys' reaction, let's look at what they're saying about it. This is clip 8.
They just talking about denim, right? Just a blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman explaining how her good genes gave her personality and purity. I mean, are we really going to pretend that this isn't a little fashy-coded? Look, I'm not saying that Sydney Sweeney personally wrote this ad to revive the Third Reich, but American Eagle absolutely knew what they were doing here. You don't get to drop lines about inherited traits, blue eyes, and great genes while zooming in on somebody that could have walked straight off of a Nazi propaganda poster and expect people not to catch that reference. Good genes used to mean racial purity in fascist circles, and now it's just denim marketing. We are watching fascist aesthetics sneak back into pop culture through fashion ads, tradwife influencers, and yes, now blue jeans. If you think this was an innocent ad, you have not been paying attention.
All right, let's get into this Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ad campaign. So this is really just Clean Girl 2.0 relaunch. And they are depending on her to really pull in what their audience is for this brand. And it is the audience of Clean Girl 2.0. It's really beige at this point. And in a bunch of the ad, you don't see the clothes. You don't even see the jeans. And yeah. At this point, Sydney, business-wise, is living up to the initials in her name. With everything that she does, is she's making it pretty clear. So IRL, she's Cassie.
Should we be surprised that a company whose name is literally American Eagle is making fascist propaganda like this? Probably not, but it's still really shocking. Like, a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman is talking about her good genes. Like, that is Nazi propaganda.
Okay, so let's get into this. I mean, I didn't see it. Shelly, what are you? They're calling this Nazi propaganda just because a white girl is advertising jeans.
So, okay, these fools, these idiots, they don't, I guess, first of all, the left does not have a sense of humor, okay? They don't understand the double play on the words and the genes and all that. They don't understand that. And they're probably jealous, most of them people, because she looks cute in her jeans and her little outfit, okay? So they're probably jealous about that. But they certainly do not have a sense of humor. I just like it because they are upset about it. That's why I like it. I like it because they are upset about it. They are apoplectic again, and so I am ecstatic. But Sydney Sweeney, and I thought that was clever at the end. What she said, living up to the name, her initials in her name, the SS. I was like,
yeah, it's like Nazi SSA, right?
They are so, they're humorless. They don't have a sense of creativity. They certainly cannot laugh at themselves they just can't have a good, healthy laugh. I think many of them are like, what's the word they used to use for women? Frigid. They're frigid. They're frigid. They might need Daniel's dick if he still has one.
Nicole.
Remember, after the election, they said they weren't putting out anymore. So this is what you get. You know, it's a beautiful ad, and I love the play on words. I love the American muscle with the American blue jeans on the quote unquote all American girl. Now, where were these voices when Rihanna dropped her ads? And wasn't nobody in it but Rihanna, the black woman. Wait. I missed the mark of the dumbass septum nose ring when they had the big statue of the black woman in Times Square just standing there belly out. I missed all the props for that. Where was all the outcry for that? They, again, are grasping at straws and anything. And these Nazi references are so absolutely disgusting. This is what happens when we don't teach history in school. This is what happens. I guarantee you, make no mistake, that when they filmed this, only thing they were thinking about was Americana. Notice the plain background. She's just got on blue jeans, and for the most part, she's pretty much covered. She's covered pretty much head to foot the entire ad, and there's not one scene in this ad where she's not advertising blue jeans. I don't know what that girl was watching. Maybe she was blown away by the American muscle car, because that had my attention too when she peeled out. That was a good look. Wholly American. The name of the company is American Eagle. What did they want? They want a South Korean selling jeans? Is that what they're looking for? Is that really and truly what they're looking for?
So they want an Indian up there. They want a Native American Indian with the feathers and
they want somebody with that dumbass mark of the dumbass in their nose, but let's leave that alone. But it's going to be a problem for them when American Eagle drops an ad with someone else in it. Maybe they drop an ad with a black woman in it. Then what? Can I tell you, these women have never shopped at American Eagle before anyway. So American Eagle is not losing any sleep over these women not liking their blue jean ad. She looks amazing. She looks absolutely amazing. The clothes look amazing. You know, I understand that bell bottom look is coming back in. So she's selling to the people who are fashion forward, who buy that particular brand. If you don't like it, move on. Not everything has to be for everybody. That's that DEI stuff. You know, you got one white girl, you got to have 3 black girls, 2 Chinese, and a few Australians to make the cut. Get out of here. We're not doing that anymore. We're not doing that anymore.
I mean, to me, it makes me think that these people have very low self-esteem. I mean, how many times you got good genes? You know, people have said that for generations. Oh, wow, you got, good genes, meaning it was a play on words in this, of course, but it doesn't necessarily mean her genes are good because she's white. I've been told I have good genes. I got high cheekbones, Yeah, a lot of people, different people have been told they have good genes, or your dad, my parents, this runs in my family. So they say, oh, you got good genes. What in the world? It's a casual phrase. This is ridiculous. People are just taking things themselves way too seriously. And then this is, it shows us that a lot of people hate America. You saw the one lady was on there and was talking about, oh, it's American Eagle. So what do you expect? Well, what is that supposed to mean? I mean, these people, I don't understand why they're still here.
They don't either. They don't know why they're here because they have freedom of speech and they know they can get to bitch and complain and whine. That's it. And they get an audience and they get on social media, whatever their clips are, they go viral for foolishness. Sydney Sweeney, I hope she does more commercials. I mean, if they use other models, that's fine with me. I thought it was very creative with the play on words.
I did too. Yeah. And I loved that the focus was on the clothes. I love that the focus was absolutely on the clothes. This is what a clothing ad is supposed to look like, right? Right.
I mean, if you think about it, most commercials have some kind of play on the words in their products, and this is the audience that they're promoting it to. So this is just all for them to get riled up about racism and eugenics, and they're making a whole issue out of everything, and it's foolishness. And most people, I believe, know it, and they call them for the foolishness.
Yeah. So again, folks, we will continue to call this type of stuff out. Please hit that like button as you come in and subscribe. Our goal is 200,000 subscribers by Labor Day. We need your help. Hit that subscribe button, like, share, and subscribe. Final topic of the night. We gotta go out with a bang. We have so much fun talking about Big Tish. Okay, and of course you should know who Big Tish is. It is the one, the only Letitia James. Okay, talk about President Trump winning. I mean, if there is a poster child for just so tired of President Trump winning, it would be Letitia James. Okay. Before we get into this, I want to acknowledge our super chatter, folks. Thank you so much. I think we have another super chat from Teresa with a $10 super chat. Says, ladies, I love you for your humanity, and I truly believe more of us are together than apart. We need true law enforcement and people arrested for bad behavior. Right on, Teresa. Thank you so much for your continued support of the channel. All right, Brown Eyes, the $2 super chat, says people have nothing else to do with their time. You are right, Brown Eyes. Yep, and I agree there. And that's another thing. Brown eyes, people will say, "Oh, you've got good genes. Do your parents have brown eyes?" You know, it's like that's not something particular to just white people. I mean, it's crazy that people say that. So those leftists were saying that. All right, so final topic of the night, folks. All right, is Letitia James. So here she is in a recent speech, admitting that Democrats are letting illegal aliens use SNAP benefits. This is clip 11.
Without SNAP, many families would not be able to count on their next meal. For decades, SNAP has prevented people from going hungry and saved countless lives. But now, this administration is attempting to use this program as a tool in their cruel and chaotic targeting of immigrants. It is outrageous. It is unacceptable. And this administration has demanded that states hand over sensitive personal information of all SNAP recipients going back to 2020. That includes addresses, social security numbers, immigration statuses, and more. This is not for research or to improve a service that millions count on. No, they are basically trying to weaponize the SNAP program against immigrant communities in violation of the law. And we collectively will not stand for it. That is the administration's plans, and they have made it abundantly clear. They even removed a notice on the USDA's website that promised people could apply for and receive SNAP benefits without immigration consequences. We will not allow this life-saving program to be illegally used to hunt down immigrants and their families. No one should fear for their safety when they seek food assistance for their families.
All right. This woman makes me sick. Her voice just irritates me. All right, Shelly. So did you understand what I was saying? You see what she was doing there? What are your thoughts?
Stand on the words talking about immigrants. First of all, illegal immigrants, number one, should not be getting any kind of federal benefits. That's number one. Number two, if they are here legally, if people are here legally and they are American citizens, then they may be able to apply. But what's her name? What they call it? Big Tish?
Mm-hmm.
Big Tish. She kind of, I wonder if she's related to Daniel.
Oh, my Lord.
But anyway, she's again, I know what you mean by her voice. She's speaking with this. This is a false way she's speaking. I think she's making herself, a little bit more paced, if you will. I don't think that's how she speaks. I think she's doing that for the camera and just because she wants to have an effect. But of course, she is the Attorney General. Anything that she thinks she can put her hand on to get President Trump, this is what she's going to try to do. She should know by now that he's not going down, and certainly not by the likes of Big Tish. That's what she's doing, and that's what she's trying to do. No, it's not going to work. It's not going to work.
Mm-hmm. Now, my question on this is, Nicole, so federal law does not allow SNAP benefits to illegals.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what the Democrats keep saying. But then we see her saying, but they're getting these benefits somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going on?
So, what's happening is Big Tish was doing her best to drop the hint without saying it out loud. But she realizes the people she's speaking to are dumb as a box of rocks. So she had to slow her pace of her words so they could pick up the hints, right? Here's the reality. This money comes from the federal government. It is often moved around and reassigned to other things, but many, many, many illegal people get SNAP benefits. And this is why the federal government says, okay, we've been giving you this money, now give us the data. Give us the data. And that data does include social security numbers, dates of birth, addresses, names, phone numbers, and immigration status. Right?
Right.
Now, why would they ask immigration status if immigrants weren't even allowed to apply?
Mm-hmm.
And why don't they want to give up the information?
Well,
right.
If you're an illegal immigrant, you have a baby, of course you're going to go get WIC. WIC's not asking you any questions. And that WIC person's going to tell you need to be on food stamps and send you right on over. And the person at social services is not going to ask you any questions. And this is how we get to where we are. When we talk about institutionalized problems, that's what I mean. Not at the top. It's not, the people who are sitting at the USDA who are making these tough decisions. It's, the little people who work in the office. You say, well, don't worry about it. I'll just not click that box. And it just rolls on and on and on. This is where we need the changes, folks. This is why it counts. When the president says these people need to be qualified for this job, they don't love America, they should not have these jobs, because that is how this ball of free shit gets started for them. Right? All it takes is for one agency to say yes, and then all the other agencies says, well, they said yes, so we say yes, right? We can't continue at this pace. We cannot. Turn over the data like you have a choice. Turn over the data, and we're going to scrape it, and it'll make it easier for us to ferret out the people who are here illegally, who are also criminals because they're gaming our system, right? You know how Democrats say, well, they're not really illegal because just coming here is not really breaking the law. It's a civil penalty, which is not, but it's a civil penalty is what they say. But when I can prove that you've been defrauding SNAP benefits, you've been defrauding WIC, you've been defrauding Section 8 for how many years? Tell me again how they're not criminals. Tell me how they're not criminal minded. So getting their hands on that data is a big, big deal. It's also going to be hand slaps for the states that allow it.
Yeah, and that's what I was just about to say. So what's going on here is the federal government does not allow benefits to go to illegals. They basically give this money to the states, and then the states administer it, and that includes eligibility criteria, benefit levels, supplemental programs, and all kinds of ways. So depending on the state you live in, they may be giving these benefits, that bulk of money. So again, money is supposed to go to Americans. They're taking your money that is for needy Americans and dividing it amongst some illegals. This is what's happening. And so this is why this is how the illegals get the benefits. Because I know illegals that are getting SNAP, EBT, and all this type of stuff. Okay,
absolutely.
Lots and lots of Medicaid.
Right. And keep in mind that with these enforcements, because they should never have been getting them for however long, but many states have the error rate. I think the error rate needs to be below 6%, which means that you're basically giving your money to the people, giving the money to the people who need it. When your error rate is above that, then you're supposed to be doing corrective action. But for years, many states, Maryland is one of them, their error rate has been in the double digits and higher. So they have been allowed to give this money to people who don't need it, or who should not have it, I should say. And so they've been getting away with it. And now Trump and Doge and whomever else is saying, no, enough. We're going to start monitoring, auditing. We want an accurate account of who's on the rolls. So now the states are, because this, again, remember, I don't care what money you're getting from the federal, state, or local. When they tell you that, oh, it's only supposed to be for this use, they might say that, but that's not how it works. Money is fungible. You can put some in this account and have another source that will replace that and cover it up. So don't buy into that. Oh, it's only supposed to go here. It's supposed to, but it doesn't work that way in many cases.
Yeah. And so my question to you is, my final question for the night is, this seems like you would think Americans, well, no matter your color, no matter your political affiliation, would not want our benefits going to non-residents. But the Democrats are continuing to advocate for illegals to get these benefits. And I'm trying to understand why. Nicole, what are your thoughts there?
Listen, they know for a fact, at least in their head, for a fact, the people who show grace to these illegals, because eventually they'll be voting not just in local elections, but in federal elections if Democrats have their way. So why not curry favor with them now? Why not? Why not make them dependent the same way that they made Black people infants? Why not make them the new babies? Right? If you want to see that in a microcosm, look at what happened when the DNC had their leadership elections. You know, they have rules that say they have to have so many women, so many men. You know how they are. They got the checklist. But note how there were no Black women, not near a one elected, not one. Eventually, the DNC is going to get sick of Black folk, and they're really going to be out. Then what? Because brown is the new Black. And you heard it here first, family. Brown is the new Black. And the more brown that they can get here, the better, as far as they're concerned. You know, they'll take their chances on letting them vote in local elections. They'll take their chances on making them feel like America loves them, but only the Democrats out of America, because Republicans hate them and want to deport them back to their home countries. That's the tagline. That's the tagline. When you see white women on a parking lot screaming because ICE is removing someone who's raped 5 or 6 children, and she's like, let him go. You know, this is a horrible thing. Like, he's raped 5 kids. You want me to drop him off at your house with you and your kids? It is absolutely disrespectful what they're doing, but it is what their plan is.
Yeah. Jude made a good point, and he's right. They're playing the long game. They are betting from some time down the road that many of these illegals, they're going to be grandfathered in to be citizens, and that is their voting base. So that's what they're doing. They'll take some of the losses along the way, but long game. You see, some states already, they give them licenses. They can vote in some local elections. So these are just pieces to the whole justification for the means to an end, justifying that long term. So that's what they're trying to do. And this will be their new base for their population.
Yeah. Well, we got some super chatters here, folks. Thank you all so much. Let's see here. All right. We have Bobby with the $5 super chat.
Yeah, Bobby.
Thanks, ladies. Great show tonight. You're very soothing. Wow. Never been called soothing before in this crazy world, because y'all get it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
all right.
Bobby.
D Suri with the $10 super chat says, love you ladies. Thanks for keeping it real. All right.
Thank you.
And Brown Eyes with the $2 super chat says, Letitia James' real name is Rasputia from Norbit. Yes, indeed.
Oh, I have a song for Brown Eyes.
Oh, no. If you're going to sing it, we'll cut it right now.
Okay. I'll just do one verse. That's the only verse I know. That's the only line I know. I remember, I think it was Crystal Gale. Don't you make my brown eyes blue?
Oh, yeah, I don't know that one.
I think that was like a country song, I guess.
Yeah,
that's just song Brown Eyes.
Pretty Brown Eyes.
Oh, okay.
Silk.
I remember that too. Yeah.
No, that was mid condition.
Mid condition, yes, mid condition. That used to be my song. Yeah.
You tell my brother-in-law's a musician. I know all the songs, right?
Right. Oh, and a good, awesome musician as well. All right. All right, folks, that does it for us tonight. We will be back on Wednesday night at 8 p.m. So on Wednesdays, we come on at 8 p.m. So please check us out. Hit that notification bell so you know when we go live, and share, share, and subscribe. Share this on your social media, in the DM, on your timelines. We need your help. We have a goal to hit 200,000 subscribers by Labor Day. We're so close, and we can't do it without your help. So please hit that like button and subscribe. All right, tomorrow, guys, we always say on Monday nights, you got to check out the All American Talk Show. They're right here. That's our sister station here on YouTube at All American Talk. They actually will have Alan West on tomorrow. He's going to be live with them in the studio. Alan West from Texas, and he is going to be talking about Jasmine Crockett, redistricting, and more. So you guys go over to the All American Talk Show right now and subscribe. They are going to be live tomorrow at 6:45 p.m. with Alan West. It's going to be rodeo time, Wild Wild West Texas style. So definitely check them out. Again, they're early. They go on at 6:45 tomorrow evening Eastern Standard Time. And then we will be back on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Don't want to miss it. All right. Thank you all so much for riding with us. Until next time, count your we got a super chat. Oh, D's T with the $10 super chat says, great show, ladies. Thank you.
Thank you, Dee.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Until next time, count your blessings and live a life of purpose. Good night.
Good night.